What's up, Philadelphia sports fans? I am Anthony Pinto,
And I'm Keith Malashevsky.
and welcome to the War Room. We are War Room Philly. Keith, my friend, how are you doing today?
I am excellent. It's beautiful weather today, a little bit of a breeze going on, warm weather. Sports are coming back into our lives. There's a lot of good to be positive about right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, like you mentioned, sports are coming back. We got some baseball. Um, so we got more dribs and drabs, more news to come about. So yeah, it's we got a little bit of everything tonight. And speaking of baseball and like a little bit, and just to kind of lead us off with some fun, and we can work our way into sports talk. We did get to see a live event last night, Keith, at Citizens Bank Park,
We did.
and I don't know if you got to tune in at all.
I did
Um,
just like a second or two, not too much, but I did a little bit.
Here's the thing, and I can ask you, because we're diehards as far as sports fans, right? So now I'm a Disco Biscuits fan. We're talking about the Disco Biscuits show last night, which was a charity show. It was in front of an empty audience, obviously, at Citizens Bank Park. I'm a fan. I've never seen them live, but I've watched them live. Like I've watched streams, and they're on my bucket list of bands to see. But having like for you the person, like you've been around me, you get it, but for just for sake of purposes, a non Disco Biscuits fan but a sports fan, you still tune in, right, just to see that.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not huge into that scene or much on that style of music. I'm not saying I'm against that style of music.
Yeah,
I dabble in whatever, but that's not necessarily my scene.
Keith has
So
said the words he wouldn't mind going to fish. I've even
I
gotten
have,
Keith to
yeah,
say he wants to go to a fish show.
I
So I
will,
want
I
I want to
will.
give chat. Keith isn't, it's not that he's anti jam or anything.
No,
But
just
yeah, the Disco Biscuits are they're I mean they're named after a slang for ecstasy. So they're a little bit deeper in the jam band. What's up,
well,
Joey? See and everybody out there. So yeah, for you as somebody that appreciates good music, we've seen. Have we seen anything other than Foo Fighters?
no, that's legitimately the only show we've gone to together.
Yeah, I was gonna say we've done events, we've done tons of sporting events.
Yes,
But yeah, as far as concerts, I was thinking that's the only one we've done
yeah,
together. It was a damn good one. We got to see Dave Grohl on the throne. That was when he had the
yeah,
broken leg.
yeah.
um,
Game of Thrones, and
that's what it was. I'm glad you remembered. I was trying to
Game
think
of
of it on the
Thrones.
spot. I was like, I know he had a really catchy thing. So
Yeah, I think we were the show right after that had happened too. Um, but more back to that. Yeah, it was just cool seeing an
it's
event in
actually
Citizens Bank
Quaalude.
Park.
So okay, chat correcting me on the drug slangs. That's good. That's good.
Well, Steve's a
Uh,
little bit older than we are, so
so yeah, but yeah. What were you saying, Keith? I'm sorry.
I
Yeah.
said it was just cool seeing an event at Citizens Bank Park at all this year. I mean, I've actually gone to a concert at Citizens Bank Park, so it is a fun venue. But that's not necessarily how they normally do the concerts there. So that
That's.
was cool.
I'm glad you brought that up because I may have forgot. But I even said to Jamie, we were watching it, and shout out to Jay Ziggy and Chat if she's there. I was saying I was expecting to see them in the outfield, not at second base.
No,
And it
yeah,
was
that's
really cool
completely
since
unexpected.
there was no crowd. They were facing each other, and they were like kind of like like their stage presence was for each other, and they were kind of like grooving, like to amuse each other instead of because there was no one there.
It was almost
Um,
like that jam practice. Like they're there just kind of rehearsing and like grooving together that way.
it started to feel like a rehearsal a little bit toward the end too, and I don't want to diss them because they were in a really awkward spot. But yeah, they just like end kind of abruptly, and I think maybe not having a crowd there also just makes the ending feel abruptly. But it was a great show. I don't want to, me. I start nitpicking at
Okay.
everything. It was
You
phenomenal.
nitpick.
It was
Oh,
free, and it was for charity. So all
yeah.
donations went to charity. Yeah, and the Phillies will be playing at CBP. Yeah, most likely. At least as of now, that's what it sounds like. I do think baseball and football should consider the bubble technique. Um, and maybe that's something we'll get into as we dive into the sports segment of the show. But yeah, not only that, Keith. Tomorrow marks my 10-year anniversary of my first ever fish show, and
Really?
in those 10 years, I'm now close to almost 30 shows seeing them. I'll be approaching 30. I mean, I probably would have got to 30 this summer, but obviously no tour. So hopefully next summer.
I know you're heartbroken about that last night. And Disco Biscuits was the nice fix to kind of pick you up.
It did it 100%. I was supposed to see Trey with the Philly Orchestra, which would have been cool because Jamie's a violin player. So it was going to be kind of like a cool little date night for us, and we still turned it into that. Just did it at home, did it with the Disco Biscuits.
I can hear her in the background of your snaps.
Yeah, she was the audience. It made it a little less awkward. You would cheer at the end of every song. But yeah, nah, play at home. And again, Joe, I look. In an ideal world, yeah, they play at home and they played at a sold out stadium. I'm just being realistic, and I think the best way to, control this, and I'm not the only one that said it. Like the experts have said it, that he should, that the MLB should consider, and the NFL should consider, the bubble technique. And look, if things change and we're going to be able to put fans in the stands and things like that, and things progress, then hell yeah. And you can always break the bubble, right? Like you can always start with the bubble and then be like, okay, things got better, let's move it to the home, But yeah, again, it doesn't look like it anyway, so I'm kind of speaking for nothing. But that would be my suggestion.
Listen, I think the bubble is the way to go. I think, as much as it hurts, fanless experience is the smartest way to go, no matter what sport we're talking about here. It's just less of a chance of things being spread. And I know that the athletes are generally far enough away that maybe the fans aren't going to do too much, but it's a risk you don't need to take.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at trying to get the maximum amount of playing time in for every single one of these sports, because let's be honest, we're racing against the clock here if all the experts are correct and there is going to be a second wave. We're quite potentially going to have a partial baseball season and end up having it cut short, or basically at some point blow up because of a second wave, or even just, as we've even seen, the Phillies organization has already had several positive diagnosis, I should say, or positive cases.
Yeah, and those numbers are gonna probably inflate too as more and more of the results come in. So yeah, you're right, and that's more what I'm talking about, and that's the thing. It's like it's all well and good when you think like, oh, they can play at home and this and that, but it's there's a lot more outside circumstances, and again, that's not like. It's just like it's again, it comes down to like almost the conversation we've had, it feels like months ago now, forever ago, but is sports essential? I mean, no, as much as we want it to be, right?
Yeah.
So you're not going to tell people to just start spreading a virus that we're trying to get contained because of sports. You're just kind of you're being blind and arrogant to think any other way. But again, that's not as much as chat is trying to force that narrative down my throat. That's not where I'm trying to go tonight. We want to talk about baseball coming back, so I'm going to ignore chat for a while, and we're going to get back on track, and we're going to get this to be positive. I'm not going to get into. We'll talk maybe when I'm by myself. I'll yell at chat for a show. But yeah, and Keith, if you could give yourself a little correction on that camera. I don't miss that camera. I'm not gonna lie. But there we go. Yeah, beautiful. But yeah, again, and if sports is your only release, seek therapy. Like you should have more hobbies than one. Like, and that's coming from someone that sports is my biggest hobby. I started a talk show. I started a Facebook platform. I started this, and I've been running it since 2011. Like, this isn't just something new for me. So yeah. I digress. Let's talk about baseball. Let's talk about the return, and let's talk about what we do know. Because Keith, it's starting soon. Like, we're getting baseball. We're getting like training camps next week, and training camp is going to be home now. They're going to be all in their home respective parks and everything. So it's gonna be awesome to see, as far as all these things coming back. Assuming things are under control, and that's why I want to do this show tonight, because I want to be excited. I don't want to sit here and talk doom and gloom. That's what you guys have been like getting force fed down your throat on the two channels, is just doom and gloom, doom and gloom, doom and gloom. And I kind of want to be positive. So let's do that. And yeah, as far as this goes, yeah, I'm excited. 60 game season. It's gonna be a sprint. You're gonna have like 60 games in 62 days, and you're gonna have rainouts and things that screw that up, and that'll be really fun because baseball is just gonna act like, oh yeah, we're gonna be able to get this in. We're not gonna have to play like a quadruple header one day because of rainouts. I mean, it'll be totally fine. Again, maybe one more reason to consider bubbles is if you can put your the teams in domes, you don't have rainouts. But it's things like that. You have 62 days to get in a 60 game schedule, and it's gonna be really fun if this goes and if this gets going, because yeah. Look,
I mean, it's exciting.
One thing about baseball that I think purists, everyone can agree on: 162 games is too many. Now, 60 is not enough, and we got to deal with it under certain circumstances. But we get to see a short baseball season, and you're looking at it like, how Keith, I said that Phillies fans need to not always react to a baseball game like Eagles fans. Like, they'll react to a loss in April like it's a Eagles loss in week 8, and you're like, it's not that big of a deal. We don't need to like dissect every and things like that.
Now every game is kind of that way. If you think, I mean, it's not exactly, but it's closer. It's more like that basketball mindset.
You start off 3-9. You start off 4-12. Like, you're back. You might be done already. You might be like,
well, yeah, because I mean, you got to think about it. The top team is probably going to be somewhere around 40-42 wins. So that's you know what I mean. At that point, you're only looking at maybe 18 losses for the year at that point, which that's really it's concerning. I think that this, although despite the fact that I said it was concerning, I think it could play to the Phillies' benefit because they tend to have a hot start, and then they've been slouching later in the year as this team has gone. And we'll see what happens with Joe Girardi if it follows the same kind of trajectory.
Yeah, under Gabe Kapler, you're right. At least I can remember vividly the last 2 seasons. Yeah. Kind of hot start, and it's why, like, the closer they got to September, the more mediocre that they became. And real quick, from Joe Hunter in chat, this look, I would have rather them say we're gonna do 7-inning games this year than this 9th, this in extra innings we're gonna put a man on second. It's like when we're in the backyard. All right, I got an invisible man on second because we're out of people. Ken Griffey's gonna run. Like, what? What are we doing here?
I actually kind of like it. I mean, under the circumstances, I'm not saying I want to see this from now on forever, but I like it under the circumstances that we're at, because you need to kind of move things along, given the way that the games are packed together, like you already said. You need to be able to close things out quickly, and having that happen, it's more offense, more excitement, It goes into that, universal DH. Like, that's why these things are there. It's to help out everything, because let's be honest, like our pitchers, their arms really aren't stretched out right now. So you're going to see starters go 5, 6 innings, and maybe by the end of the 60 game, we'll be able to see them go pretty deep. But I mean, everybody's been pretty cold for the most part, so I'm good with this. I'm good with this momentary addition.
Steve says, "Hey, Roman Quinn now has value." That's not true. It's you can't just pick like a substitute runner, and it's whoever makes the last out. It's little league
Is that what it
rules.
is?
It's 100% little league rules. And
That makes it less.
just backtracking, the argument against that 162 is too long, but how many divisions and stuff comes down to 1.5 game. Each game is important. It was when it was 4 games each, 4 teams each that made the playoffs, and that was it. But they want to keep expanding teams and keep doing this. And not only that, flip that argument to hockey and basketball. You still get the same thing where maybe not divisions, but seeding comes down to that. Hockey, the wild cards. Think about hockey, how the wild cards come down to like the 8 seed and things like that. But even football, how close that like the addition of games doesn't make it any closer in my opinion. So yeah, it's just you could do 120 and still get away with it. In my opinion, ideal world, you do about 100 games. I know that's never gonna happen to give up that much revenue. Baseball would never do it.
No.
Look, I think 82 games for hockey and basketball is too much. Like I think if you want to, especially if you want to dumb it down to today's society, you look at the NFL model. The NFL has 17 games, 16 games, and you want to watch every one because of how little games. It's 1 day a week. Oh, I can do this. Like, you only got to set aside 1 day. It's very easy to commit to football. Make it that not as easy because you're never going to make it that little of games. But if like, oh, every Wednesday night right after War Room Philly, I got to watch the Phillies. Like, it's like they're going to be on, if you have certain like baseball nights, things like that. It's just
I mean, it's a grind watching 162. I mean, for example, uh, like thinking about the Doc Perfect game, a lot of people tuned in late to that game. A, because of a Flyers playoff game going on, but B, because it was a early season game against the Marlins, so you felt like it meant nothing. You're like whatever, like. So you have those games that get lost up there, and yes, I know I'm picking one of the games that you might have wanted to watch, but that's my point, is that it's just such a grind, and you go, I can miss this one. I don't gotta watch that one. I don't need to go to this game. I got a million to go. Like, I feel like the entertainment value might be diminished because of the extensive product that's out there.
yeah. In my opinion, you can still keep this. You keep it. You're gonna tighten the season up a little bit, and you could have done like May to September. You expand playoffs. You have more days off, more rested players, more rested pitchers. You don't have to see the fourth and fifth starters as much. But yeah, let's talk about this year, and let's talk about the starting rotations real quick. Because as I'm talking about the fourth and fifth starters, I'm thinking in my head, we got a good 1 and 2 this year in Nola Wheeler, and the fact that we only have 60 games this year, that puts a lot of pressure on those two guys to really step up to the plate. And you want to talk about must-watch games? Nola Wheeler, mark it on the board. That's the games we're all watching every time they get to, every time they're up.
If Wheeler plays.
As long as the Flyers aren't, in the playoffs and playing a game.
Like, I don't want to be that guy. I'm also going to say, yes, I know we're trying to be positive. There is a nice little clause that is fantastic for the players in there, that they can opt to not play and still get paid if they have high-risk individuals, with which Zach Wheeler, his wife's having a baby. They're going to have it sometime soon. So So that's one thing. And then we also got Bryce Harper, which, by the way, congratulations, Bryce Harper, and your lovely wife on your next child that's coming. They have a little girl on the way. I don't know if you saw that.
Yep. Yeah, he's going back-to-back jacks. He's got one, now he's ready for the second one.
So like that's a real concern.
But he's already made the Instagram post. He's in. Like, we know we're getting Bryce. I saw Reese post. I've been kind of busy the last couple of days, but I have through scrolling through social media, have seen here and there like people like Scott Kingery, like they're getting excited. And look, I honestly, and this has kind of been my thing the whole time that we've been talking about baseball, I'm like, I want baseball more selfishly because I personally believe that the shortened season helps the Phillies.
I think it does too. I really do.
To get that rotation and to stay with those 1 and 2 and make those games more important.
After 1 and 2, it gets a little interesting, but
yeah, and again, we're not really gonna have off days, so you're still gonna have to you're still gonna have those guys going every fifth day. You're not gonna have every fifth game essentially. It's not like because of the shortened season you're gonna be able to get more starts in on one pitcher over the other. So it's gonna be really really exciting. I think depth is gonna play a big issue, as it always does. But again, even more, I'm curious to see. Is there going to be any trades allowed? Like, do you know anything on that, Keith?
The trade deadline is August 31st, if I'm not mistaken. I believe I saw that somewhere. So at that point, that means you do have a shortened, just like everything else, trade deadline. So this is the fun of it. Like, you're going to get like 20 games in, and then all of a sudden it's going to be people who are like, "Are we in or are we out?" All right, yeah. Cool. Right.
So I'm saying you go 3-9, and you're like, "We're selling."
Yeah,
trade JT Realmuto.
But that's legitimate. That's really what could. And I mean, not Realmuto, but you could see teams doing things like that, where let's just say the Dodgers, by some crazy happenstance, all of a sudden they just crap the bed and they start off ice cold. Oh, they go, wow, we traded for Mookie Betts. He's a free agent at the end of this year. Yeah, we're gonna trade him again and get something back for him, like things like that can occur. I doubt that specific example, much like the Realmuto thing, happens. But those are the instances you're going to see. You're going to see people go, like, all right, let's get something back. Let's call reset. This is a shortened season. We'll be good for next year. I'm good with that. And that's because they can get away with it because their fan base doesn't have to sit a whole summer watching an absolutely crap product. You only have to deal with your fans complaining for 30 more games.
Yeah, totally agree. And speaking of totally agree, the Phillies need to bleep and sign JT. Yeah, Joe, 100%. 100% Flyers Cup, just so we're not confusing Joe Hunter and Joe Heston in chat. But yeah, it's gonna be, like I said, it's gonna be an interesting season. The fact that the trade deadline is still a thing will be it'll be fun to see how that's handled. You know who's really benefiting from all this?
Who's that?
The Houston Astros.
Yeah, they've kind of gone under the...
We can't boo the Houston Astros relentlessly, stadium after stadium. Like, they're gonna get scot-free out of all of that. After all the sign stealing and everything, the Houston Astros just like, and no fans in the stands. Like, they're rooting for it.
Slap on the wrist as it was, too.
Like between who started coronavirus? Brett Brown or Houston Astros? 267-705-5289. People calling in radio box. What the hell? Seriously though, like,
I mean, they've been some of the biggest beneficiaries from this.
Like at one point, we all hated the Houston Astros so much, we forgot the Washington Nationals won the World Series last year. You know what I mean? Like it
Yeah.
was like we were like as a baseball society, we're so like swarmed in on this hatred of Houston, and we almost like forgot the Nationals were the ones that actually won it last year. They beat Houston, but yeah.
Why you gonna bring me down like that?
What happened?
Why do you gotta bring me down like that?
Me?
Remind me that the Nationals won.
Wait, what did you say? I'm sorry. I was.
I said, why do you gotta bring me down like that? Remind me the Nationals won. Like, come on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, bring you look. No one hates the Nationals more than me, so.
That is fair.
Yeah, it was a tough one. It really was a tough one. Yeah, hope their entire team gets COVID. Joe, I can't say I agree with you, but I don't disagree with you. The views of Anthony. No. I don't wish sickness on anyone, but seriously, yeah, bleep the Nats and their fan base. The Nats fan base is what everyone outside of Philadelphia thinks the Phillies fan base is, minus brains and passion. But yeah,
I guess brain. All right.
But yeah, because like even on the outside, sometimes you'll hear like, oh, they're intelligent but passionate fans, but they're this, and then they start bashing us. The Nats aren't even that. They're just belligerent, retired. I don't. I digress. I digress as I do best.
What do you think? What do you think about this? So, in the original safety plan, there is no celebratory contact allowed.
Again,
No
like
high fives, no bumps, no hugs.
if you're out on the diamond playing baseball together, if someone has it, they're gonna spread it. So it's like that's why this
No
this
spitting, no chewing
these
tobacco,
things make no
sunflower
sense
seed.
to me. Like they really don't. And maybe this is like maybe the MLB has science beyond my brain. It's very feasible, but like again, that's why. And I don't want to stay on this subject, but that's why I brought up the bubble in the beginning, because if you can keep everyone kind of together in a controlled sort of like semi-quarantine environment, you have a lot better risk, or not a lot better of a chance to limit the risk. I mean, but I don't know. Whatever. We'll see. Yeah, I think it's insane. Like the whole like think about. You've probably like chat. How many times have I touched my face during this show? Like we're still trying to remember to not touch our face and like things like that, and like the fact that these like what are they supposed to do? Like sometimes you got a little lung butter and you got to spit it out. Like I work indoors, and sometimes I accidentally like I'm in a warehouse, so it's not like I'm like spitting on a rug or something, but like it happens sometimes. You know what I mean? Like we're disgusting people as humans. I don't. What are you gonna do? Like you can't sit there and legitimately fine people. Like they say that you gotta at least have some sort of like the umpires being like like Little League. You're gonna be bringing back stop that, Sonny. You gotta yell at them a couple times. Like you gotta give them some time to like remember. But this whole like not high five and I don't really know. I don't. In my opinion, that doesn't help. Like if you're already out there on a diamond, you're out there on a diamond. Like what happens if a line drive is shot right center field, and you got a man? Forget it, no man on. Line drive right center field. Think Citizens Bank Park, where that ball starts to kick around. Triples alley. You got now two outfielders converging on the same ball. One of them is going to touch it. The other one will be close. And he's going to have to throw it to his cutoff. The ball has already been in the pitcher's hand, by the way. Now it's going to go to the outfielder, to a cutoff man, to the third baseman for attack. Like, so are you really like thinking that if someone's infected, you can get around this?
And they're going to throw away balls that have been touched by multiple people
like
every time.
I just that's where it's like I don't know. Maybe it's above my head. It's feasible, but it just seems like that's why the higher ups and the official like these, the CDC officials and everything have been kind of like inferring that baseball and football should go to the bubbles. But yeah, NBA has a ring. Yeah, I like, again. What is this like? What is this ring? It's gonna detect, like, again, if you're detecting it, like, shouldn't these guys just be already getting tested daily? And I don't know. And I also found out that, all right, well, everyone in the NBA, like, the NBA's got starting to figure it out more than anybody, right? But even the NBA, they're gonna have all these quarantine, but the workers aren't gonna be quarantined. So these workers are gonna be going back to their family, and then, it's like, what are their family and who are they coming in? It's gonna be bizarre. And my biggest fear is that we all get so excited and we start sports back up the second time, and it gets shut down again. Because that's when I start looting, Keith. That's when I start rioting. That's when I start looting. If you take sports away from me again, I'm gonna like lose my brains. Like, I'd much rather see it never come back and wait until this is ready than to have it come back and then get it stripped away again. Because, like, now you're toying with my emotions, and now I gotta fight somebody.
Anthony, I have some bad news.
So anyway, I started blasting.
You're probably going to be in that crowd that, like, I love this and I want to be optimistic, but I just don't see these seasons finishing out all the way unless we're talking about bubble situations. That's the only way that we, like,
when we say bubble situations, we mean like bubble boy, just so everyone knows. We don't mean like controlled environment, but no, I'm just kidding.
I think that the Flyers and Sixers, I think NHL, NBA, I think they will finish out what they intend to do. I feel like those things will happen. But the NFL and the MLB, I don't know if they finish their seasons. Like, as crazy as that is, I don't know if that happens because the NFL refuses to believe that they can that they should go without having fans, and the MLB just started so late, and there's just so many bodies in play, and we've already seen them have practice facilities have this happen. I just feel like that's going to end up being a huge issue.
Yeah, I agree. And workers, if they have it, yeah. So hard to stay. Well, again, that's not like, for me. Why can't the, and look, the NBA is already putting out a lot. I think I heard the number was 150 million that they're putting into this bubble situation. Like, they're look, credit. Look, we've been talking about how greedy the MLB owners are. Credit the NBA owners, because they're going to take a hit here, but it's an investment because they're going to make that money back. Sometimes you have to spend money to make money, right? Isn't that the cliche? Well, the NBA owners are like, well, we're going to invest because it's going to make our product bigger, better, in the long run. And back to Joe Hunter's point, yeah, Disney World, like, in my opinion, entice all of these essential workers that are going to be there to stay in that bubble too. And I realize that means more money, but safety, like, that's the key to this. If you want to finish your season, you know what I mean? Man. Because, again, isn't that it? Like, right now, it would almost feel like a utopia to just turn that TV on and watch a playoff hockey game. Like, I just got chills. The only other time, you know what else gave me chills, real quick, if I can divert? Watching Oscar Lindblom skate on the ice.
Yes. That was the positivity we needed.
That gave me chills. That gave me, like, yeah, that's inspiration. That kid is a hero, So yeah, shout out to Lindblom Strong, as our Oscar Strong.
I mean, that's amazing, because it's a hard, cancer itself hard to beat. The kind that he has is tough to beat. They caught it just so early that it gave him a great chance. So it's fantastic to see him not only finishing up his treatment, as it seems at this point, but to be on the ice and to be skating is amazing.
Yeah, he's a beast. Look, we saw what he could do on the ice this year. He was really proving it, and there's no, like, he can handle that simple fight of cancer, right? Of course. No, but again, all of the props in the world, continued well wishes to him. Um, it's not just Philip. Everyone, like Sidney Crosby, is rooting for you, kid. We're all in your corner. So yeah, it was really great to see him. It's really great to see all the Flyers like slowly and surely getting out on the ice. Um, Again, man, it's like if we get this, the Flyers are in a good spot. I really think they're going to make a big run if we do when this thing gets going. And yeah, like you were saying, sort of like the chances of the NBA and NHL, and I'm really excited for them both. Um, yeah, I just a little random little divergent there for me.
It's a good little knock us out in there.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, what were we actually? We were talking Phillies. Phillies 20 to 1 to win the World Series. Keith, you like those odds?
I like that. I'd take that.
Now, I'm guessing. I guess you just get your money back. I guess it's a voided bet if the season gets canceled, right? So
Yeah, because there was a lot of those bets that happened for like NBA and NHL.
yeah, yeah. So I'm just like sometimes I think out loud, even when I'm doing a show. But yeah, it'll be interesting. Um, so yeah, now let's just while we're on that subject, let's get back into it. Let's talk more Phillies. Let's talk realistic expectations, Keith. Look, we're preseason right now. Everything's crazy, but where do you see this team going? We got a bit of a tough division. Um,
Yeah, I don't think that tough of a division, to be honest.
no.
No, I mean, I think every team in the division got weaker. I think that the Nationals, yes, they won the World Series, but they lost key components. Anthony Rendon, one of their best hitters, gone. Steven Strasburg, will he be able to stay healthy again like he was last year? I don't know about that. The Braves didn't necessarily get any better this year, from what I saw. So the way I look at it, I'm not saying that we're the best automatically, but I'm feeling pretty good about our chances to win the division.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Braves. They lost Keuchel, Donaldson. I wouldn't really call McCann a loss. Cervelli. Lost Hamilton. They lost a couple people. They got Azunia back. They signed Cole Hamels, Felix Hernandez, to a minor league deal too, which is really good. Like get King Felix on what could be a minor league deal.
He is pretty beat off. He is not the same King Felix.
I'm just saying, but on a minor league deal, I'd take it.
I mean, it's a flyer, yeah.
I even take Cole Hamels on the 1 year $14 million that they're giving him. In comparison to what? Who's our fourth, fifth, third? Yeah. Again, I don't know that they got better. I don't know that they got worse, but they're still gonna be there. Same with the Nationals. They might have not got better, but I certainly don't think they got too much worse. I think the young talent on that team is going to continue to grow. The Mets are the Mets, but don't sleep on them.
No, they have a good rotation even still.
Yeah. So this division, look, we'll agree to disagree. I guess I see this division as a tough division. Maybe not like high tier if you match them up against other divisions, but I think it's balanced in that it's going to be like it's going to be a tough race. Like I think it's going to be tight all year. And if I'm not mistaken, Keith, correct me if I'm wrong. If you know, I think it's 40 division games and 20 interleague, and it's going to be geographical. So they are trying to limit travel in that sense, which I like the progressive thinking. You got to try to do everything you can right now. But getting back to the tightness of that race, it's look, the Marlins aren't going to go 0-60, but when you get the Marlins on your schedule, it's like you got to have a must win when you're going to play them that many times.
Yeah.
And because of how tight everything else is, but man, you are going to have you. We are going to hate like you think you hate the Nationals now? Wait until you play 80% of you're not 80% of the games, but so you got 80, and then you got to take 1 out of 4 on 80. What's that math come down to? Like, is that 20? 20% of your games against the Nationals this year?
Basically.
Is that right? No, roughly, if not.
Roughly.
So you got 20%. Like, you're gonna hate them after you're gonna hate the Braves. You're gonna hate the Nationals. We already hate the Mets. Or you're gonna hate the Mets. And if the Marlins beat you, you're gonna hate the Marlins. But yeah, then you're gonna probably play, as far as interleague teams go. You'll probably play Boston, New York. Baltimore.
Yeah.
That's
probably who you're playing.
Teams like that. Maybe even Toronto.
Tampa Bay.
Maybe a Florida team here and there.
Yeah, I mean, if it's East Coast, you know what I mean? Like, that's probably who you're looking at.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what they do with Toronto.
I mean, Toronto, I would assume is going to end up playing like Cleveland Indians. They're going to play.
I just mean, like, I wonder if there's any chance, like, say they get designated to an American city or something, or does that make sense? Or like, again, I'm not necessarily the most in tune with how everything in like. I know travel is going on in the world, but do we necessarily want travel across, like, does Canada want our shit? If I'm Canada, I'm like, keep your dumbass American germs out of here. Hey? I don't know. Oh, we don't want your shitty healthcare coming up in no. I'm just.
Wow. Wow, Anthony Pinto. Confused with Anthony Pinto. Does not
but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's.
No, I mean, you got a point.
I'm just curious. It's. I'm probably overthinking it, but it is what it is. I think it'll be fun with the new division. Well, it's not. So it's not a new. And correct me if I'm wrong, everyone. It's not necessarily a new division. They're not doing those 3 division things. It would have been fun. Don't get me wrong. I would have really liked to see what they were talking about there. But they'll win the Canadian division. Yeah, it'll. It's still the same divisions, right, Keith?
Yeah, you're staying within your division, so you're playing who you would normally play because those divisions are pretty geographical as it is anyway. The only one that's a little weird are your central divisions because they cover a very large, like, amount of ground, just given what the Midwest is. But you're gonna do your actual divisions, and then you're doing geographical interleague people, just to kind of limit your travel to at least an area. So,
another interesting thing that I'm surprised no one has talked about yet out there in Chatland, but Keith, what do you make of, and who do you think will be the designated hitter in the this year? It's going to be a universal DH. And again, correct me if I'm wrong. I've tuned in and out very little nowadays. But yeah, I'm fairly certain we're getting a universal DH. Again, why? I have no idea. But they're just like, yeah, screw it. We'll try stupid rules since it's a stupid season. And
I can tell you exactly.
Bruce, that's a good one. That's a good one.
That's exactly who it's going to be.
I'm sorry, Keith. I'm sorry. Steve in chat chimed in.
It's going to be Jay Bruce, and it's going to be Rhys Hoskins. Those are your DHs. It depends on how much you want to play Alec Boehm. It depends on how much you want to give Real Muto a day off from behind the plate, but still want him in the lineup. Things like that are how you're going to get your DH. But it's Jay Bruce is your number one pick for your everyday DH.
Weirdly, having a DH increases Scott Kingery's stock
It does.
because it gives him, at least, he might not have stability, but it gives him one more position open on the field to play, because he's not someone that's going to, you think like, oh wait, he's not going to play DH, what are you talking about? But somebody will play DH, and because of that, he's a great fielder. He's very versatile. So, we'll see him. Potentially in the infield. Look, I want Kingery in the infield. I don't really like the idea of putting an outfielder or an infielder at center field. We'll see if that is how it plays out. But yeah, you're right. I think Bruce is definitely the obvious one.
A guy like Neil Walker has more value off of that minor league contract that we signed for him, that he might actually make the roster because of that.
Yeah, yeah, and then you get, you'll probably have days where you'll put Real Muto in at DH, give him, a rest as far as the knees as catcher, or you could even have a day where Reese plays DH and JT plays first. You could have, hell, you could potentially work McCutchen in at DH because he's coming off of a major injury. Look, this is look. I hate the DH because, in my opinion, it takes away some managerial moves, but still, you can get creative with it. And if there's one thing that I love about Joe Girardi, is that he will get creative with it. And look, we already have a manager well versed in using the DH.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, we do.
So
He's got that in spades, man.
Like the DH. How about, I'm surprised that my dad, of all people, likes the DH rule, because I thought that I got my stubbornness from baseball from you. So I thought that my not wanting to change anything from baseball would have came from you. I don't know where it comes from then. But yeah, I don't like the DH in the national. I like the DH, but I like the two leagues being separate. I like added strategy. I like that's why I like the shift. I like baseball is the ultimate thinking man's sport. It's situational. And the fact that people don't like the shift because it takes away from hits, but it's like that's strategy. That's doing your homework.
Yeah, it is. Joe Hunter asking us in chat, who's going to play third base? Well, I think that opens it up a little bit too. That brings you into a conversation of, does Alec Bohm make the roster? Well, maybe he does, because maybe you can get some playing time for him, given the DH spot. You can cycle in Jay Bruce. You can cycle in and Didi Gregorius, who's an excellent hitter. Give your infield some more chances to get different looks. I think you're going to see a mixture of people play third, whether that's Alec Bohm, Scott Kingery, Gene Segura. Guys like that are probably going to be your third base. I don't know if anybody's got that on lockdown yet.
Yeah, you'll have Kingery could potentially be it.
I want Bohm to win it. I want Bohm to be our guy. I just don't know if this year is the year for that.
Bohm's going to make the team. In my opinion, especially with everything going on, you're not going to have a minor league, right? So you want him to play. Bohm's going to make the team. And that being said, I think that leads him to, you want to get that kid somewhat of consistent at bats. You play him at third a couple days a week, maybe DH if he's hitting well. You play him at first. But again, another addition to put Reese. Because look, we all like Rhys Hoskins. We all love Rhys Hoskins, but defense is not his strong suit, no matter what position. He's not necessarily below average, or maybe he is, but let's just say it nicely, defense isn't his strong suit. So if you can get Bohm, if you can get Real Muto, if you can get these guys playing first and get Reese maybe, as the DH, if you're going to have him, or if you have Bruce, whatever it may be, that's where that all comes into play. McCutchen in center. Well, I don't think McCutchen can play center every day anymore.
I think he's a left fielder now. I think that's what he is. And
I know he did it well last year, but he also got injured last year. So I don't know. Look, on paper, I love it. I
And,
love Hazley. It's not even in my opinion. Uh, it would be Bryce, McCutcheon, and maybe even Bruce. But yeah, I mean,
and Joe, what do you just not want Didi Gregorius to play at all? Because that lineup you just set up there has no Didi Gregorius,
yeah,
and
Didi's gonna be
he's going to play at shortstop.
yeah. Just pencil him in at short like every day. That's where Didi goes, unless he's gonna play second, which we haven't really heard.
I don't think
Um,
so.
so I would say I guess there's been talks of him playing third. I see him staple him in at short. Maybe play around with the idea of either Gene, Segura, Kingery, Roman Quinn at third, and then Roman Quinn or not Roman Quinn,
I would say. So
Alex, yeah, Alex Bohm.
I had some questions. That's what you
Then
were
take
sticking with.
Take Bohm out, and Segura, Kingery, the remainder of those two at second. That's kind of how I would look at it. Or you could just say Reese Hoskins first base, Gene Segura second base, Didi shortstop, Bohm third base, and Kingery center field out of all of those guys.
Probably. I mean, you're going to see a lot of different looks just because of how compressed the schedule is. That's something you're going to see because guys are going to need rest. So we're going to see. I believe we're going to see teams use this taxi squad that they have access to, regardless of Corona issues. You're going to see them use it because they want to keep their guys fresh for the playoffs.
Yeah, it'll with everything that went on. It's easy to forget about TD. Yeah. With everything going on, yeah. Again, look, we're no one here, and look, like no one here is bashing anyone for forgetting anything right now. Like we're all rusty. We can probably all recite office quotes more easy than sports statistics right now. But we'll get there. We all, slowly and surely, we'll work those brains back in. Yeah, Didi was a big pickup. Didi was he was like our only pickup. We're Wheeler too, obviously.
Wheeler.
But yeah, as soon as you guys bring things up, you're like, damn, there's a big need between center field and third base still. We haven't mentioned any relieving pitchers tonight for a reason. That bullpen makes you need to take a shower. That bullpen is scarier than coronavirus.
Let's hope some teams fall out of contention quickly and need to get rid of some relievers. We'll happily take them off their hands.
You've never seen The Office, Joe? It's look, comedy is comedy, so it's kind of cringe comedy, and if that's not your thing, that's fine. I'd recommend everyone give it like a couple seasons worth of trying, but if you don't want to, it's fine. I don't care. Got one question: Utley or Rollins for the Hall of Fame? Easy Jimmy Rollins. And it could be both, but Rollins is like a 100%, in my opinion, first ballot Hall of Famer.
He's a lot.
He's, as far as National League goes, the shortstop of almost a generation. He had some really good competition on both sides of the leagues.
MVP, World Series ring, 2020 season.
Yeah.
He checks all the boxes.
Yeah, and for Utley should have been a Hall of Famer, but the injuries cut that short. So yeah, I just think that Utley was a surefire going down as one of the best second basemen of all time, but injuries kind of put a huge halt to that. I tell you what, I want Chase Utley in the Hall of Fame, like really bad. I want everyone from the 2008 World Series team except for Kyle Kendrick in the Hall of Fame. I really do. But yeah, as far as like, do I think he'll get in? I mean, baseball. You see, like baseball 2 years ago, they didn't even put anybody in. Like, they are dicks when it comes to letting people in the Hall of Fame. Like, Piazza didn't get in his first ballot. Griffey wasn't unanimous. Like, Someone said no, Ken Griffey Jr. doesn't belong in the Hall of Fame this year. Find me that person so I can smack him in the head. Like the Hall of Fame voters they are dicks.
Yeah,
Like, I can't even think of a better way to put it. And no, again, look, I think that he could have been one of the best second basemen to put if you put his numbers up against the second baseman in the Hall of Fame, because he missed about 3 years of his career, he falls a little short, and the Hall of Fame writers aren't going to just write those numbers in. I would. If you're asking me, do you vote Chase Utley in? Yes, I do. Because he was dominant. I just don't know if he will get in.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like Utley and Howard both have those issues of shortened careers.
Yeah. I didn't even think to bring Howard up in that conversation, because he's another one that would have been surefire Hall of Famer. Like, he is the hands down best first baseman in Phillies baseball history. Just like Chase Utley is for second baseman. Just like Jimmy Rollins is for third baseman. Just like Mike Schmidt is. Just like Mike Schmidt is for third baseman. I was just a step ahead in my brain.
But no, I mean that's exactly. It's just it's injuries shorten their careers, and will their numbers be good enough overall? Having those World Series rings does help. Rollins and Howard have the benefit of MVPs to add to the resumes. Utley does not, which is that's going to be an interesting one. But I think when you're looking at players, Howard has to go up against a lot more talent than Utley does. I know that's almost like splitting hairs, because second and first base always have a lot of talent. And that's why I think Rollins has such a clear path, because shortstop, there's not as many talented shortstops, at least not in that. The only other person in his playing time that you could say definitively was better than him was Derek Jeter. That's it.
Yeah.
Derek Jeter and him.
And
those are the shortstops. And
I forever called Derek Jeter overrated because I like Jimmy Rollins more too. That was fan me. That's not on the air me saying that, because as someone at one, I can't Stephen A. Smith and come up here and just say stupid. I mean, I do sometimes by accident, but I won't purposely say stupid things. But yeah, as far as that goes, yeah.
Jeter actually wasn't unanimous either. So speaking of those writers being absolutely, what was the term you used again? Oh yeah,
dicks.
Yeah.
It's not. Yeah, they're not. They're dicks. Like you gotta get the throat into it. You know?
Little stank.
Yeah, little stank. How's my stank face?
But yeah, I mean that's what it comes down to. So to answer that question, I want them both. Utley does have a chance. Rollins 100% in. That's with that.
Yeah, Joe got my trivia question right too in chat. We had a little mini game going on while we were having a conversation. But Joe threw out the tidbit that probably a lot of Philadelphians weirdly remember. But Chase Utley's first hit was a grand slam. And I was like, what number was he wearing? And he remembered that it was 27. It wasn't 26. He didn't. Just like I think it was Jimmy Rollins came up with 43 at first. Like a couple players, like when they're like, when they come up in like September call ups and stuff, they don't have that. They didn't earn that number yet.
They get it with there. That's all.
Bonds and McGuire Hall of Famers. Again, are you asking me my opinion? Yes. Barry Bonds is. Mark McGuire, maybe not. I would have to think about McGuire. Barry Bonds is the best baseball player of all time. I don't care with the asterisk or not. He's still the best baseball player of all time.
The only thing I'll say about that is McGuire. I'm kind of on the same page. Maybe not.
I'd have to think about McGuire. But Bonds, it's easy.
He was going to be a Hall of Famer before what he did. He wouldn't have hit the home run record without the steroids, like 100%. So that's the only thing I don't like about it.
It was, and look, part of me gets it. It was his ego, and he's going, well, look, if these guys are doing it, why shouldn't I? You know what I mean? Like, again, think of me as, like, think about being the competitor or something. Like, it is. Sometimes you're just like, you know what I mean. So, sometimes you just want to load up walls on CS:GO. I would never do it, but sometimes people do it. But it's people. It's tough. But for me, yeah, Barry Bonds makes it in. Pete Rose makes it in.
Pete Rose should.
Like, here's what I will say: if Barry Bonds gets in, Pete Rose has to get in. Okay, okay, that's my stipulation. That's my And Chase Utley.
Throw them on.
But yeah. I do remember you and your weird love for the Yankees, Dad. I hate them. I hate the Yankees. Always have, always will. And you know what's weird? Just saw in my timeline, my memories. We went to the Yankee Stadium this day in history. Joe Hunter and I, Pops and I. But yeah, we went and we also met up with T-Mac too while we were there, which was cool. But yeah. Yeah, it was really, like, it was a fun trip. Really underwhelming stadium. Yankee Stadium is.
Interesting. I've never been. Never been.
It's sterile. It's boring. Like, they tried too hard to just remake an old stadium. And it's like, it feels really poorly done in modern, like, with how modern stadiums, how dope they are.
I've only really been to two other stadiums other than Citizens. Well, I guess other than Veterans / Citizens Bank, I've only been to two other stadiums other than that.
Which two?
Shea Stadium.
Never got to go to Shea. I did go to City.
I've been to Shea, but not City. I went to the second to last game there. Or second to last Phillies game there, I should say. I was there at the day portion of the day-night doubleheader in 08. And then I've been to, I forget the name of the Cleveland Indians park, but Cleveland Indians ballpark, which
it's a bank. I know it's a bank.
Well, they really are. I actually think it might be Progressive Field. I think it might be. And I'll have to look that up. But I loved it.
Yeah, Progressive Field. You're right.
Yeah, I think they have a phenomenal park. Just the way that everything's set up, and they have this Hall of Fame section that's almost like a Hall of Fame Gardens area that was super awesome, very well done, and I recommend people going and seeing it. Even though Cleveland itself really is not that impressive of a city, I think seeing a Cleveland Indians game and going to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is worth the trip out there. Plus, obviously, you can go to Canton, and if the Cleveland Browns are playing, I guess you could see a Cleveland Browns game.
Hey, if the Eagles are out there,
yeah,
why not? But yeah, I remember. That's so weird. The person that I went to Citi Field with just so happens to show up in chat, and yes, we did brown bag straight vodka walking to the stadium. Oh, those were the days when I could actually drink. And that's why I can't drink now, because things like Kevin and I would just drink straight Smirnoff and walk into the
I'm getting like heartburn.
Oh man, yeah, I did Citi Field. I've done Camden, which highly recommend. It's the OG Citizens Bank Park. I've done Nationals Park, which is just a notch above Yankee Stadium for how boring it is, but it's at least open and got a nice view. Yankee Stadium is closed because they wanted to make a stadium that was built in 1919, even though it was built in 2000 and 9, 10. But what other ones have I done? I think that might be it. The New Yorks, Camden. Yeah, I think that's about it. If I think of it, I'll come up with more.
I always wanted to do all 30.
I want to do Pittsburgh really bad. And every season I say I'm going to go out, and I still haven't. But I think that might be the one stadium that I'm going to go in and be like, holy crap, this is better than Citizens Bank Park.
I want to do the kayak too. I want to do that. I want to sit out in the water on the river.
Yeah,
Not that I need to do both, inside and out.
yeah,
Just because it'd be cool. It'd be
yeah.
an interesting experience.
PNC and my other bucket list is I want to do uh, holy crap, just had a brain fart of all brain farts. That's not embarrassing.
I would love to do Fenway
I
and
want to do
Wrigley.
Boston, Fenway. Yeah, I literally just like sometimes you just have a senior moment. I hit 31, and now I'm starting to think about those days where I was brown bagging vodka, and all of a sudden the brain cells. Yeah, Fenway, Wrigley too. Wrigley's out. Fenway is more on my list. So, Chicago just as in general as a city, I want to go out and see. I drove like Chicago was above me at one point when I drove across the country, and I wanted to go there. But next time I do that, I'm gonna actually like stop in certain places. Next time I like make a little drive across country. But yeah, I think I saw is Drew a Hall of Famer in chat? I did. Yeah, again, I have to look at numbers and see where his lie amongst Hall of Famers. But gut test and knowing he's gonna play another like probably 3-4 years, yeah, I would say so. Hopefully, a cup this year bolsters that. But yeah, I think Drew, when you put his points totals up, it probably gets up there. Two-way player too. He's probably up there. Yeah, his numbers will be better than Lindros. And is Lindros a Hall of Famer? I mean, that's another conversation. So
There's a lot of good conversations.
yeah, good thing we got a empty sports calendar for a little bit, so we can keep having them. Oh, he's already in. Yeah, I'm sorry, I knew that. Again, like we said earlier, we're not gonna butcher anybody for making any mistakes. I just forgot the name of Fenway Park 4 seconds ago, so it is what it is. We like to have fun here. But yeah, we are up over the hour mark. So I would like to throw out maybe the 2-minute warning as I'm trying to rename the final thoughts segment. The 2-minute warning, which like Andy Reid, we will let go more than 2 minutes if need be. We'll get into the time management if need be. But yeah, now's a good time. Anything else that anybody wants to talk about? You got the new Crash game. There's been a lot of game news actually. You pre-ordered it. I think I might pre-order the Tony Hawk game because I just saw that you get the warehouse demo early if you pre-order. So
I just spent so much money on games on PS4 right now
yeah,
because of the sales going on. So I bought Spyro. I did. I bought the Spyro trilogy.
Keith,
Now,
while we're on nonsense, I forgot to talk about this in the beginning of the show. Can we just talk about Michael Keaton suiting up again?
yes.
Can we?
Which I'm gonna say this before we get into happy. There's a little sad with it. Literally, the day that it basically came out was the same day that Joel Schumacher passed away, who was the director of those movies.
Yeah,
Um,
two of the Batman movies that were meh. But yeah,
I
but
mean, it was the Keaton movies. Listen,
wasn't Burton the Keaton ones?
I
I thought he did Clooney and Kelmer.
I thought
I could be wrong too. I know Burton did at least Batman, like he did the first one. And maybe it wasn't. Maybe after that.
Joel Schumacher did Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
You are right. You are right. But one Batman person exits, another one reemerges. I'm stoked for him to happen because I love the idea that they were doing. Because I talked for years that this is how they should reset the universe, was to do the multiverse.
Let Flash fix and screw up everything.
Yeah, exactly. And then they did the TV show. I don't even watch the TV shows really that much anymore. I used to be big into
First season, I still recommend people watch. After that, do not watch. In fact, I would. It's not that I like say do it. Like sometimes I'm like after that, do what you want. No, just only watch the first season of that show. Everything else is garbage, hot garbage.
Yeah, listen. So I'm thrilled that he came in and they did that whole melding of the universes for the Flash and just launch the whole multiverse thing.
Oh wait, did I miss something there in my sidetracking? Did Ezra come into?
Oh yeah, oh
Oh,
yeah,
that's cool. That's dope. That's
yeah,
dope.
yeah.
It's about time DC starts like. DC is so like I love DC. I don't want to come off as a Marvel fanboy here. DC sometimes they drive me nuts, but they're like, no, we don't want everything to be. We're gonna do separate things. Now they're like, wait, no, we want everything to be this. Like,
No,
just
they made it canon. They just made it separate universe. That's all
yeah,
they did.
and it was so easy to make it work. But that's what we were saying from the beginning. We're like, you can say it's all one.
Both DC and Marvel have the multiverses. Like, why not use them?
At least pretend. We're in a pretend world. Just pretend.
So I'm stoked that we're gonna get this. We're probably gonna see. The name just dropped out of my head. The guy who played Thomas Wayne, Henry Dean Morgan. Is that his? For whatever reason, the name.
In what movie, Thomas Wayne?
The most recent one.
Okay, yeah, I wouldn't remember it then, but yeah. Either way, we might get a. We might get.
Yeah, Jeffrey Dean Morgan. He's gonna be in it as Thomas Wayne again, but supposedly as like they're thinking he's gonna be like Flashpoint, Batman, like as in Thomas Wayne the Batman type deal.
I remember that. That's a good. Have you ever seen the? It was on Netflix for a while. Now I guess it's probably on HBO Max now. The Flashpoint animation. Oh, so good.
Awesome.
So good. Flash animated stuff is. I mean, DC animation in general is god tier. Like that's one thing where they are just untouched. Like Marvel just can't even come close to them on the animated game. But yeah, am I the only one overly excited about Skate 4? No, you're not. But here potentially, because I was more of the Tony Hawk guy. I played Skate back in the day. Like I thought I was gonna love it, and it was like it tried so hard to be real, and I was like, I just want to bust a 900 for no reason at all, like I can in Tony Hawk. And it was just, yeah, I like more of the like smooth combos, the fast kind of button mashing that you do in Tony Hawk. But yeah, nah, Skate 4. It's not that I'm not excited about it. It's just that it wasn't more my. It's like some of these newer like sport games. You need like a college degree just to start playing them. And it's like I just want to slam A to hit a baseball. You know, like sometimes you just so yeah. That's like the difference in my opinion. But no, I mean Skate 4. We got Pokemon Snap coming out. We got a new Pokemon game that was announced today that looks like some sort of like card kind of online team strategy game. I haven't really. I'm probably gonna turn it on right after the show. I'll take a look at it. We can watch it now, chat. No, but yeah, there was that. What else? There was a ton of
a lot of game news
game news that came out recently. So yeah, if you're into any of that,
I'm gonna go play Spider-Man after this.
Spider-Man, I'm either gonna play. I got this new game recently, and it came off of a recommendation from our good friend at We Podcast and We Know Things, Greg Hall. Super Mega Baseball 3. Okay. So I was thinking I was gonna buy Madden this year, and because I bought this game, I'll at least hold off until Madden's price drops.
I'll make that complaint that I tried to go and buy Madden and it's still $60.
Oh yeah. They're that's how it is. If you want a brand new copy, it's they'll do sales, but you gotta catch it at the right time. It was just on sale actually in May, Keith, which kind of sucks. But yeah, just you're talking for a PlayStation.
Oh yeah.
Just you could probably get a used copy.
Well, I'm not going to store, so I was looking on the online.
Yeah,
store.
And you know what?
I think the online store would be cheaper because you're not getting a physical thing. No, it's $60.
Yeah.
Like,
I was gonna say maybe check eBay, but that's like risky buying a game on eBay that's used. But yeah. just wait until the new one comes out. If you're really you only got a few
Yeah,
months at this
if I'm going to
point.
spend money, I'm going to wait.
So and then you get to you'll get to play with Carson Wentz and the rookies. You have Jalen Hurts as your backup, which is gonna be dope. Like
Oh, yeah.
as much as I don't like the pick in real life, it's gonna be good for my Madden team. Makes preseason games playing a little more fun when you got a quarterback in that can also run. So yeah, I might pick up Madden, but I'm gonna wait until. But yeah, this game it's really it's like 20 completely customized teams. It's not major league rosters or anything, but the gameplay is like it's tight, and it's got a skill rating from 0 to 100, so 100 different difficulty settings that you can play on, and you can just keep nudging it up until you get pwned. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. As far as like the as far as like the names of it, they're like funny names. Like I had one dude who like looked like Wade Boggs and was called like Wayne Hoggs, and like there was female characters in the game too, which I thought was kind of cool. Since like look, the Major League Baseball can't really do that unless they were like creative players. So I like this one. They took like kind of a cool chance to like make a little quality thing too. So yeah, and it's like my home team. I'm like my team name is the Wide Loads. I got a hippo as my logo, and my home stadium is at Red Rocks. It's at Red Rocks Park.
Okay.
So yeah, it's like they created 20 different teams, 20 different rosters, 20 different stadiums. And yeah, it's a $45 game, so it is a little bit of an investment. But it's a good one. It's fun. I think I might give that a try after. It's like I like that because I can just like chill back in the chair. I can like relax instead of like where if I'm gaming I'm like it's like it's
Too intense. Too intense.
yeah. After the show I'm already a little wound up, so it's a nice way to kind of relax. I think that's what I'm gonna get ready and go on and do. So yeah, once again, chat. If you got anything, now's the time to do it. Keith, any final thoughts for tonight?
No, I think I'm good. I just everybody, be patient. We're gonna get our sports back. We're gonna enjoy ourselves and get ready for a ride.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's just to echo that thought. Assuming all of this is good and well, it's gonna be really fun. Really fun ride. We're gonna have all four sports going. So yeah, I'm excited. I really hope that we can get this all under control and keep things going. It'll certainly help our show. But yeah. So with that, thank you guys all for tuning in, both live and on demand. If you're watching us on demand, remember to follow us on Twitch. If you're watching us on Twitch, remember to go over to YouTube, type in War Room Philly, and give that page a subscribe. Actually, I think it's Anthony Pinto is the channel. But once we get enough subscribers on that, it'll be War Room Philly. We can customize everything, get the link. So yeah, I'm really trying to help that out too and get enough subscribers so that we can have War Room Philly on YouTube and just be. I want War Room Philly everywhere. So yeah, once again, thank you guys and for everything, following us everywhere on socials. Chat, you guys are amazing as always. So on that note, I'm Anthony Pinto.
I'm Keith Malashevsky.
And we are out of here.